Parkour is simply put the art of moving effectively and efficiently through your environment. And free running, which is completely separate, is the art of expressing yourself through movement. Which incorporates a bunch of flips and tricks. However, it's not only about that. Mainstream media depicts parkour as if we're parkour practitioners, as if we're daredevils. However, we're not. There's a lot of backwork in parkour, which mainstream media does not just glances over and misinterprets. So just to give you an idea of what parkour is, here's a quick video, just so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is me. This was actually not a planned line. It was just 30 seconds for me to move, and I'm able to move through my environment in a very efficient and cool manner. So why did I choose this project? So since my introduction to parkour because of my brother, I've had an interest in parkour. This was last year. So as you can see, this was last year's biology notes. I was drawing stick figures, an athlete jumping from rooftop to rooftop or word to word. I also wanted to learn more about myself during this project. I only have one body, one life. I wish to care for myself and make the most out of it, which is why I pursued this. This project, Parkour and Free Running, it's challenging. This isn't something you can learn in an hour, a day, a week, a month. It takes years of training and practice to be able to do the things that we're able to do. Everybody knows that great things take time. I wish to share this project with others from what I've learned. This gives me a very progressive mindset, which allows me to progress my life outside of parkour. This is also something that enables me to be unique. So as you can see from this picture, this was a trip to the Philippines. I'm actually an outsider and away from everyone else, so it makes me unique. Lastly, for this project, I wanted to have fun. I didn't want to sit down at the desk and stare at a computer all day. However, I somehow ended up doing that as well. Anyway, so moving on. So for my objectives for this project, I wanted to advance in parkour and gymnastics. Gymnastics because it's very similar to free running, so I took classes there too. I wanted to become a parkour assistant, a certified parkour instructor, research human anatomy and kinematics, produce a mobile application promoting parkour, and produce videos promoting parkour as well. So some pictures of Urban Evo, some app pictures, and then the wristbands that we have. There's no easy way, which is true. You just have to struggle through it. So for my first objective, starting this project in September, as you can see in September, there was a peak in the number of hours I was at Urban Evo because of it. Urban Evolution, which is the East Coast's largest parkour and free running gym business, has their own level up system. So just like any other martial art, they start with white band, and then you get your green band after taking a test, which is intermediate parkour practitioners. Then you get your red band, which are mainly lead instructors, and then there's only one black band who's actually sitting right there. So in preparation for my red band test, because I was green band already when I started in September, I took a lot of intermediate parkour classes at Urban Evo, Urban Fit classes, which is Urban Evo's strength and conditioning classes, and gymnastics classes. In terms of training, because I'm a green band holder, I'm allowed the open gym privilege, so I'm able to practice certain skills that I need in preparation for the test. I plan to take my red band test in April. It is a difficult test, and only 22 people actually have their red bands. Only one female, if you guys wanted to know. Yeah. So, what better way to progress my training than become an instructor? So another reason why I wanted to become an instructor is also to have some credibility when I try and share this knowledge that I have on parkour with others. Urban Evolution has their own instructor program, which I was accepted in last October. And since then, I've shadowed or helped out with and assisted with classes such as intro class and white band classes, 7 hours a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and there was also instructor seminars with lead instructors who would go over the curriculum with me and other instructors in preparation for the test. I have taken the Urban Evolution Instructor Certification test last March, and I did pass it. So, yeah, okay. And I did pass it. So this is an instructor certification test. Was a difficult test. It was 34 pages, and there was also a practical examination part where I have to give corrections to certain skills being performed, progressions and regressions as if I was teaching a class, and also trying to teach some very stereotypical students. So for example, an ADHD child, so it's like extreme. So I get to learn how to teach children in a proper manner. So I learned that you have to give them something to do and make it entertaining for them. So rather than just teaching them how to climb up a wall, you have to make it entertaining. So tell them it's James Bond, you're James Bond, and then you have to run away from bad guys. So it was very effective, and I'm glad that I have the skill to be able to help with children and adults as well. There were other stereotypes. On the side over there, that's a document outline for the assistant parkour certification document which they have. So to become an instructor, I had to also learn human anatomy and kinematics. It was a portion of the test. Urban Evolution gave me a lot of documents as seen by the outline earlier. But in addition to the documents and studying different movements, muscle parts, forces of motion, I also had to research articles in terms of to pinpoint certain things that I had no idea what was causing my problem. So for example, for the red band test, one technique I would have to do to pass the test to pass the test is to bring my toes to the bar, but I have poor flexibility. I don't know where, so I look up articles as to how I can improve that. In terms of video, I looked up a lot of parkour videos and a lot of instructional videos on parkour, which also point out what different body parts are being used. And before the parkour instructor certification test, I also made flashcards so that I can drill in my head what are some terminology that I have to know. In terms of training, while training certain skills, I would try and figure out what muscles I'm using. So for example, push-ups, more tricep, more bicep, pectoral muscles. So for my fourth objective, of course, I wanted to share what I learned with the world. What better way than putting the knowledge that I have into the hands of millions of people? So by publishing applications, they're actually available to anyone, anywhere in the world. It allows me to connect to people just beyond my community, essentially. So I produced 3 applications. One, a parkour application called Aptitude, and 2 Wakefield High School applications. They're separate because Android and iOS are completely different applications that I had to make from scratch each. This is the logo for Aptitude, and that's it on the Play Store when it was in its early days. Yep. So, how do you make an application? I have no idea. So what I did was I took online courses with Udacity. In total I took 12 different courses, and each of them taking 10 to 15 hours each, so that's like roughly 120 hours just learning the content of. And the courses were how to produce Android mobile applications, how to use Swipe View, how to use Storyboard, which is for Xcode, and of course I had to learn different two different platforms. So Android, I read a bunch of documentation, and I learned how to use Java and XML, which is what Android is based on. And for the iOS platform, they use Xcode, this is made by Apple, and it uses a language called Swift, which is very different from all the other programming languages, Objective-C and Storyboard. To produce these applications, of course, I had to get copyright consent. That's something that I learned how to do, make copyright documentation and pass it to Apple so that I can get the applications approved. So I actually did reach out to certain parkour athletes and certain other athletes in different areas to produce Aptitude and provide content legally within the application. So this is the Aptitude application, and the idea behind it was you'll be able to find parkour, free running, breakdancing, hip-hop dancing tutorials here that are selected and are nice. So the idea is once you find beginner, intermediate, when you open the playlist, you'll pick a video that you want to learn, and then you'll be presented with this media player, which is special because you can loop the video at certain sections. So for example, if you're trying to learn a backflip, then you can loop the video at that one point in time where he's performing a backflip, so you can really drill into your head how to do a backflip. To produce this application, I did have to learn how to get content from YouTube. So I used their YouTube API, which is Application Programmable Interface. So it's just like talking to their servers and also the Twitter servers. I didn't know how to do this at the beginning, so it was a lot of trial and error and striving through it. That's what it looked like earlier. But this application itself is very useful to me because as an athlete training, sometimes I don't know what skill I can learn next. So by having this library of skills that I could learn, I can always pick something and learn it. So I always have something to work on. The other application is the Wakefield. This was actually a spin-off of the aptitude application. By creating this application basically does is create a place where students and teachers in the Wakefield community can go to find what's going on at Wakefield. This is the Android version. So although it looks simple out front, it's more complicated in the background. No one really gets to appreciate that. So I just wanted to point that out. And then the other application was the Wakefield High School News application. This is iOS, very different from Android. There are differences between the Android platform and the iOS platform. So for example, iOS updating the app takes forever. So you have to send it to the review process and it takes 2 or 3 days before it's even available for people to download. Unlike Android, when you send an update, it's instantly at the fingertips of the people who have downloaded your app in 2 hours. So there's some differences. So to produce this application, I did have to reach out because I needed resources. I don't own a MacBook, I don't own an iPhone. So I reached out to Dr. Wilmore, the principal of this high school, and also the STEM department, and they gave me a MacBook. They gave me resources and money for my developer accounts in both Android and iOS, and I was able to publish these applications so you can actually download them. They're not yet being promoted though. Yep, moving on. So my last and final objective was to produce videos promoting parkour because this is something that I'm very passionate about, which is also a drive for why I produce the applications. So in total, during this project, I made 5 videos for Urban Evo, and I get paid for. 5 videos for promoting Wakefield High School events, which I am a part of. And 16 videos I made a new one over the weekend. 16 videos, 16 personal videos, and 26 public videos in total under my YouTube channel, which you can look up. There's a section where I made a playlist. For 1 week, I followed my self-training. One good thing about this playlist for me personally is that I never get to see myself doing the moves. So by seeing myself do the moves, so for example a backflip, I'm able to see the errors that I've made. So like now I corrected my tuck because of this. Yep. Here are some of the videos I've made. These are Urban Evo videos, some more Urban Evo videos, and although these are parkour, I can also make videos not on parkour. So I was able to promote Acro Sutra. That last video over there shows me using Adobe After Effects, so that's a lightsaber, which we don't really have, but yep. And then the last row is some videos I made for Wakefield High School. So how did I learn video production since I'm able to make so much? I started off using my phone to take video. It wasn't the best, but it was something. So I made the gym tour video that way, and I edited it with Windows Movie Maker, which is the bad software that comes pre-installed with Windows computers. And I showed it to the gym owners of Urban Evo. They liked it. So from then on, I was accepted as one of their freelance video producers that they go to. So since then, I've had access to GoPros, some DSLRs at the gym, or one DSLR at the gym. One was taken. Yeah, who cares? And then in terms of software, they actually pay for Adobe licenses for me. So I've learned how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, and Adobe Media Encoder, which is just converting media into different formats so that they're compatible. Yeah. So in this is actually Adobe Premiere. Wait, no, that's Adobe After Effects. That's me creating a logo animation. And this is using Premiere to do color correction. So this is pre-production. That's what the video looked like. Post-production with color correction, it looks a lot better. In terms of animations and Photoshop, I did separate them into layers so I can animate different aspects of the logos that I do. Yep. Here's a quick video of just showing this was the latest video that was published by Urban Evo that I made. So I made this video, and this is actually me jumping across the car. So I did learn how to do stunts. That's a special transition, not the normal phase. So pay attention to detail, because that black pause was really cool. So in every video production, I try and up the ante by incorporating new techniques such as this one. So I just pass forward. So this is literally me running with a DSLR. Probably not the best thing to do. But so this camera wasn't steady, so I learned how to use warp stabilizer to stabilize footage. And I also try and look for awesome angles that are more unique and special.
I like that revolution because it helps me run away from my problems.
So I actually sped up the clip that was a lot longer, but during just and I actually did make this logo animation. So that's in terms of it. Okay, so back to presentation. So some challenges I've met with this. There was a lot of physical, mental, and intellectual challenges. So in terms of physically, during parkour, there are things that I just can't do yet. So my flexibility has to improve in my hips, my hip flexors. Just, for example, bring my toes to the bar. In terms of resources, I did have a lot of issues with that because I don't own a MacBook. I don't have all the resources, but I was able to overcome that by making new connections socially. To get the resources, I need to make stuff. In terms of time, I need more time in a day to do more stuff. Intellectually, a lot of this stuff was new to me, and so I had to go through a lot of research and studying to be able to do what I'm able to do. Mentally, in terms of parkour, learning new skills can be difficult. So for example, learning, a backflip is something recognizable by everyone. It's scary to jump up and have your head close to the ground. That's something I had to overcome. But once you get it done once, it's a lot easier because you've overcome that fear barrier. So a lot of it's just mental. A lot of the times I would also ask myself, why am I doing this stuff? So there's also a lot of fear for me to put stuff out there publicly and be open for criticism. That's scary for me. That's something I had to overcome. So my answer to why am I doing this is because I know how easy it is and how comfortable it is to just be okay with what's in front of you or how things are now. I always, from parkour, I learned how to get over that comfortableness and how okay you are with the way things are now and push farther so that you make new, progress your life. So there's this quote that I really like. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. That really rings to me because it's so true. Other challenges, so this is me filling up the computer's memory. That was a struggle. In terms of early applications, aptitude, this was getting, so this basically just shows that I ran out of memory on the phone, so the app would crash. So I had to rebuild that app like twice. MacBook, I had to get, this is the wristbands that from Urban Evo. There is no easy way, that's what they say. Some benefits, time management, better at it. Yep. In terms of parkour, I learned more about myself and how to take care of myself and progress my life. I'm able to teach children and adults, better communicate to them new knowledge. Socially, I'm able to make new connections, which is really helpful in the future, I'm for sure, in my career. Programming, it's the future. This is, I'm glad to have a foot in the door because as an actual career, so this project was more of a lifestyle, but as a career, I want to be a software engineer. it's nice that I already have some experience from it. In terms of video production, this is the new media outlet. This is the new social medium to convey data. So, would you rather read an article or watch a short video? Personally, I think more people would want to watch a short video, which is why I'm glad to have this ability to promote events this way. Progressive mindset. Yep. So this is actually Dr. Wilmer's signature, allowing me to publish the applications, which will eventually promote. Maybe this week, maybe tomorrow is what we're looking at. Yep. So time is very important to me. Yep. So any questions? Oh, so I would just like to show you guys the app right now, because I didn't get that. So as I show you guys, you can ask me questions.
Okay, first of all, let's just do a round of applause. Like, you go ahead. I don't even know where to start, but covered so thoroughly.
It's like
I mean, you have
projects.
many senior projects in this.
I was going to say he's done. I was going to say my one question is, do you ever sleep?